Go to school, get an education, get yourself a job, and secure yourself a really good paycheck. Because that's the point. The point of school and your childhood, the whole point of your childhood is so that you can become a great employee. Now you're 45, 50, 60 years of age. And it's like, where are we? What was the point of all this? Why am I where I am? Is this what it was for? And I look at everybody else. I look at a pile of other people, and they seem to be living some kind of dream. Is it just for the select few, just a few people, and that's it? You know, I think when we were children and when we were young people, we were given bad information and given a map to life that was all about just being a great employee. And I ain't making fun. You are a great employee. I'm a great employee. I show up to work every day that I'm supposed to. I show up on time. I give 110%. I work really, really hard. And for what? And 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 I'm not against business, and I'm not even against being an employee. But for what? Why am I why am I an employee? Why am I that? For what purpose is that? Is it just so that other people can get rich? Is that why? And that's what I was dreaming about when I was a child. That when I grow up, what I want to do is make other people rich. Which actually, I got to admit, there are people on YouTube right now that is what they're trying to do, right? But that's why we went to school, to make the CEO of Toyota rich, to make the CEO of McDonald's rich, to make whatever, right? But where do I fit into all of this? We were given a bad map. We were given a bad map, bad information that was designed to basically serve the system and not to serve you. I mean, think about this. Do you know of a course that you can take in university that is designed to make you a proficient entrepreneur? Are there classes you can take in high school that will lend you to taking on a course and getting a master's degree in being an entrepreneur? No, because like the business course, and I used to be deceived by this because I never did make it to university. So I used to think a business course was exactly that: how to start and run a business, how to find holes in the economy, holes in society, that you could build a business, make a business, and serve and be an entrepreneur, serve the community, serve mankind, and be an entrepreneur. No, it's those that understood that, came to become entrepreneurs, stepped outside of the system, circumvented the system, and got information that enabled them to become the entrepreneurs that we know. We were given bad information. We were given a bad map. And so in a lot of ways, I'm going to argue that this is not our fault. Mostly, I think there's definitely fault that we carry. And the beautiful thing is I think that the changing of this is totally within our hands. But I know myself, there's times when I was greedy. There was times that I was self-focused on the satisfaction right now, instead of, I want the PlayStation. I want the PlayStation. I want the Xbox 360. I want the high definition TV so I can buy the Xbox 360 and play my video games and play video games and get to play video games with my friends. And there were times that I was completely confused by what all these different people were saying. Here's my thinking. I don't want to be poor anymore. And one of the things that I have noticed about people who are very wealthy and who are successful entrepreneurs is they really actually have a goal for their life, which then dictates the goals they have for their money making. And that affects why they would build one business or two businesses or whatever. They have a goal for their life. Their life has a point beyond survival. You and I, we are very good at survival. I mean, look at us. Come on, you're alive, right? And you have really worked hard to be able to stay alive and hold on to what you were given to hold on to. Maybe that's a house, maybe that's a marriage, maybe that's a job, maybe that's your, I want to say maybe it's your dignity, right? And I'm not saying that to make fun. Just like this is what you were given. The school, your parents, society, entertainment, the media, they gave you this. Numbed your mind. Numbed your mind with entertainment, your sports and movies and me, video games. I love my video games, anime, right? It numbs the mind. It distracts us from the misery that we find ourselves in if we allow ourselves to think about it. And now we're 50. Now we're 45, 50, 60 years of age, and life has hit us. And we're being forced to look at it. And I think that it's a bad map, bad information, starting off with, we were never told what the point needs to be. Not what the point needs to be. You know what? We need to have a point to our life. And I'm not satisfied with retirement. And let's just, you know what? Let's say that's what it is. It's retirement. We're going to have a good retirement. Is a good retirement just being able to make it to old age, 93 years of age, not homeless? Is that it? I know myself right now, I actually am finding that I'm not satisfied with that. In fact, one of my greatest fears is that I will die alone in some room on some bed. I think we need to define what our destination really is when we get past, like what our destination is for life. And I think that that's doable now, even at 45, 50, 60, 35. I think we can define that. I'm starting to lean towards there really is no too old of an age to finally decide what is our life about? Why? What are we doing it for? It's being life, work. Because if we can define that, and if we can define that, that'll give us a clue as to what map we need. What information do we need to be able to fulfill that point? And another thing that was never defined is what makes a good life. Like, what's a really good life? And what would that be for you and I? Like, I'm not depending on no freaking university that's only there so I can become a great employee, right? That's our main focus. High school, elementary school, all the same thing. They tell you what to think, what to believe, what to know, what to understand, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm not looking to them to help me understand what is a good life. Instead, I'm going to look to people that are living lives that I like, that have results that I like. And it's not because it's all about me, but check this out. If I have a life that is satisfying to me, that is fulfilling to me, that means something to me, I then can give to others in a way that is really good because I'm getting a lot out of it. This is Christian. Hear this, hear this. Jesus Christ, when he goes to the cross, some people present the idea that Jesus Christ went to the cross for the purposes of just giving unconditionally to everybody else and that he was going to get nothing out of it. He risked the universe to save us so that he would get nothing. I don't agree. No way. There's no way he only did that just to just give because he is love. And he is love. He did that so that he could have relationship. He's getting something out of it too. And not selfishly, not greedily, not out of greed. I mean, think, so then you and I wanting something out of our lives, wanting something in return for the work that we're doing, that's not greedy. That is not selfish. So we need to define what a good life actually is, why we get up in the morning, why we go to bed at night, right? How many of us, we know we need to get to bed at a good hour and get up at a good hour so we can go out there and really work. But there has to be a real point to it more than just survival. I don't think survival is enough. And I think that's what led us to where we are right now. Because we were only doing survival, we just did what would accomplish that. We got survival. Okay. Now I got time for my video games. Now I got time for movies. Now I got time for fun. Maybe I got time for a family. Maybe I got time for, right? And then we are where we are right now, stuck. Absolutely stuck. Falling backwards, falling behind, getting deeper in debt, not getting out of debt, maybe just maintaining. And you look into your future and you're like, I'm going to have to work all the way until I'm 98 before I'm even going to be out of debt. That can't be the point of life. That can't be it. We need to seek out. I want to say this, okay. We need to seek out. We need to seek out what good lives actually are and then find out how to do that. I'm not ahead here. This is just what has hit me. I've hit the wall. I've fallen flat on my back. And I'm like, I don't want to be here again. I do not want to be here again. I don't want to quit. I don't want to stay poor. I don't want to stay the charity case. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be, and I don't want to be here ever flipping again. And so I think that we do need to start over. I think that is absolutely reasonable, but we cannot use the information that we got before. We cannot use that information to then try again because that information didn't work. Get into debt, take out loans, just go get a 9-to-5 and it'll just work out on its own. Just take whatever you can get. At least you'll survive. Because that's what we've been doing all the way up until here. Let's actually have some standards. Let's have a point to our lives. Let's get to a place of fulfillment. Find out where fulfillment even comes from. Find out where purpose comes from. I think if we do that, we can get a point, and that will then define the map that we need. And so then when we're gaining information from whoever and whatever, wherever we get that information from, we'll be able to identify that information as to whether or not it's going to actually get us to the life that we have chosen for ourselves, that we chose for ourselves, not given to us, not given to us, chosen for us. Because I would choose the best for myself. Not enough, not survival, not just enough. I want the best. And not just out of greed, but so that when I engage in life, I'm giving and getting. We need a new map. We need new information. We need a point to our lives, and we need to understand what makes a good life and a good destination.